Good afternoon, everyone. Myself, Bhaskar,
Yeah.
and I see that three persons are there. I am into ELV system. I have a 20 years of experience. I will go in introduction of mine and the system and the syllabus. In a overall brief, I just want to tell about these classes for the ELV system design and calculation. So there are points you can see that it's when we go for the ELV system, what are the things which need to be considered in the design part, and what type of architectures are there, and what are the different type of systems are there, what is the design criteria that we need to follow while doing the ELV system design. So we can go in detail. So these are the packages, like 20 points I've mentioned here. So this 20 points will be shared to you as a design calculation requirement in detail as study documents that you can go through. And in case of any clarification required, you can contact Mr. Palani or myself, Bhaskar, so anytime. So we can go in a short brief about the ELV system packages that I believe that you have an idea about the ELV system. So if you can give a little introduction about your tree, it will be much better for me to go forward.
Yeah, Rajesh.
Rajesh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are aware about the ELV systems, right?
Yeah. I heard about but I don't have that much of idea about this ELV system.
Okay. So I will share my screen to not to wait further. So we can have a short brief. And thank you for your time, your valuable time here. Palani, I will share the screen now.
Yeah.
Can anyone confirm that you can see my screen, presentation screen?
Yeah, we can see.
Okay, so here, not to wait further, I just want to give about introduction of mine. I am a Bachelor of Engineering graduate in instrumentation profile. I have 20 years of experience in ELV system. I work with the different brands. I have just mentioned here, like Axis, Beckhoff, Bosch, Daewoo, so on. They are pioneers in the ELV system. And I have handled some key projects in UAE. I have mentioned here, as well as my credentials. I am a BE graduate. I did a PGDCA at ANML. I am a PMP certified and CCNA certified, and CIRA and MCC certified also. If you are aware about CIRA and MCC, they are the local regulations for the CCTV system. So the speed is okay, right? Or you want to go a little slow?
It's okay. It's okay,
right? Okay. So yeah. Sorry, I miss you. It's okay, right?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. About the ELV system, not to wait further. Just to want to give a brief. What is ELV system? It's just a short form of extra low voltage system. Is ELV system. It's mainly works the system and the components works in 12 volt or 24 volt, 5 volt, or lower voltage than 220 volt as a standard. So that is comes under this extra low voltage systems. So we have multiple systems, ELV systems comes part of the MEP. So basically ELV system is part of MEP, as you know, and you are aware about it. So we can say that there are very few systems I mentioned here, but plenty of systems are there in ELV systems. So which is sub packages of MEP system. We can say access control, AV system, BMS, CCTV, GRMS, lighting control, fire alarm, public address, and structure cabling, and so on. There are different type of systems. So the systems have a different type of architecture. So I want to go in brief here. We can have a standalone system or on-prem or cloud-based system. So cloud-based is, as you know, nowadays the companies, clients, and everyone is moving to cloud-based. So this is the latest improvement, and the client is looking for. So advantage we have in both type of systems, in standalone and prime or cloud-based. When we talk about standalone, the system is programmed and it will work automatically, and we can do any modification in later stage, but you don't have any monitoring. But on-premise, like on-premises server-based solution, so you have a server locally in the building where you are implementing a ELV system, and cloud-based is the cloud storage is located somewhere outside of your premises, and you need to have a licensing for that, and you need to have yearly charges as well. So when we talk about standalone system, yes, you have advantage of standalone system as well because it's not connected to the network. It's not connected to the outside world. Okay, so there are some clients like when we go for some military or some security stuff companies, they want to go with standalone. They don't want to leak their data to outside. So there they go for standalone system, and it's a very simplified system. And on-premise, like on-prem server based, so you have a server to manage. If it's like a large volume of ELV system, then you go for on-prem one. And cloud-based is as based on the devices requirements and based on the server requirements, you will be going with AWS or Azure based cloud or some other clouds which client is okay with. So we have also the system which is interconnected system architecture. So we can say different type of systems. We have PSAM, IBS, and SMS. So IBS is called Integrated Building Systems Services. It's just like a system or a software. It sits in top of all the systems and it integrates with every system. And PSAM is a Physical Security Information Management System, and SMS is Security Management System. Basically, SMS is coming with CCTV and access control system integration with intercom as well. And PSAM is like you have a furthermore, there is a security things you can have enhanced and you can have a fast response. So the software is developed in such a way that it can give a fast response for any kind of any issues happen in the building or any security threats happening in the building. Apart from that, there are latest technologies you aware about artificial intelligence and IoT, cybersecurity. These are the things are implemented in the latest ELV systems. So the clients are looking for AI-based analytics when you go with the CCTV and IoT devices when you are going with the BMS and critical infrastructure monitoring system and cybersecurity in both in all the cases of ELV systems. Cybersecurity is the mean now because it has to be managed and it should be not leaked to the outside world. So cybersecurity also part of the ELV packages that client is looking for in nowadays. You have any questions in this page?
No, I think it's okay.
Okay. So this is just I have mentioned who has to learn ELV system. So it's of course the investor starts with investor. So investor is spending a lot of monies and to have a complete packages, complete building and ELV and civil works all together. But sometimes the client missed out this ELV package, the requirement of ELV package and the requirement of going through the knowledge about the ELV packages and ended up by in the after completion of the work, they come to know that the ELV package is not required as not is completed as per the requirement. So it's one of the necessity now for the client representative to know about ELV package because they will get a lot of benefits. Of course, they are the investor and they want to get the value for the money what they are spending. And the consultant is a key person who's evaluating, who make a specification about the ELV package, and they also need to aware about the latest technology and to incorporate their the latest technologies in the specifications, not to give the same kind of specifications in all the perspective in all the buildings. It differs based on the. It has to be amended based on the latest technology. So main contractor, even though is not much in deep to the ELV system, is actually is the one of the bidder, one of the contributor for the ELV system. So we also should aware about the at least brief about the ELV system. Of course, the MEP contractor is the one is handling the ELV system as well. So So if in case of any ELV system failure or wrong design, so it point to the MEP contractor. So MEP contractor also should aware and evaluate once the ELV package is given by the ELV specialist. And of course, the ELV specialist should know what is coating and how to design and how to do the value engineering. Apart from that, the graduate also should have who have interest to learn the ELV system. So of course, it's because it's a wide and it's very open to the market that people can learn and can get a benefit out of it. So building ELV design recommend introduction. So what is the ELV system is part of a MEP package, as you know. So how you can get this ELV system details in the tender? It's a tender document part of ELV package in electrical. So it comes under electrical. We have plenty of documents go through while doing the design in the building construction point of view. You have ELV specifications, which is the main criteria that what kind of ELV system has to be quoted, and you have ELV single line diagram. It just to give the overall system overview that what has to be considered and how the system architecture should be. So not to quote which is not required by the consultant or the client. So it's very important that quoting the system is based on the architecture or based on the system requirement. If you quote over quote or under quote, the both cases, project execution time or project completion time, it will be very difficult to handle and it will have a time and cost implications as well. Also, when we are choosing, when we are quantifying the equipments, we need to go through the ELV shop drawings, which is necessary because sometimes you have a shop drawing different quantities and some other quantities they ask for differ. So we need to raise the RFI, and there will be equipment schedule also there in the part of the project tender documentations. Apart from that, we need to have a local guidelines, norms, and international standards to be followed. So it's obviously when we go with some fire alarm system, we need to follow the life safety standard of local authority and international standard, as well as for when we go with CCTV system, we need to have a local standards. CIRA or MCC is there in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, or any other country. They have their own standard which has to be followed, which has to be complied and in line with our design criteria, what we are choosing the system as well. So challenges in design and clarifications by RFI, like when we do any designs, like as I mentioned earlier, we should not undercoat or overcoat. So always we have an option to go with RFI and raise whatever the loopholes in the specifications. Some points maybe have missed out while doing the tender documentations, or maybe the tender documents are something differ from the actual requirement what client is looking for. So that's why we have to go with the RFI point of view as well. And in case of any different in scope, that contractor has to check with the contractor and the consultant. That is also main criteria, because when we get the specifications, that will be should be matched with what's the client requirement. So we have different findings in site survey. When we go to the site survey, the actual requirement is differ, or actual scenario is differ compared to the tender documents. So that also should be considered while doing the design criteria for the ELV system. Okay, the screen is just. We can go with standalone system. How the standalone system looks like. So when we talk about the standalone system, either the fire alarm, intruder alarm system, or CCTV system, just connecting to the one server and it will be monitored. It's like it's will not be connected to the outside environment. So the main disadvantage is like if you want to monitor from anywhere, you cannot do that because it's a standalone system. When we have any point of view like a fire alarm system or CCTV or access control or intruder alarm system. So we need to have the system which is connected and monitored from remotely. That is the requirement in nowadays, which is has to be checked in the specifications and has to be followed while doing the design. So here the another type of architecture I have mentioned here. So what we have is our standby and server. So when you can see that it's a failover architecture. So what it means failover architecture is like you have a server and the multiple systems are connecting to the server. In case the server fails within a short period, like in the milliseconds, the art standby server should take over, and the system will have a should not have any impact in overall performance. And the changeover happens from server to art standby server should not be notified, should not be seen by any of the clients. So that's how the system architecture it developed here. So this is one of the criteria when we design for the ELB system, because the client is looking for a failover for any point of view and any system design. So of course the cost will be higher because additional servers are required, and additional failover licensing is required also when we choose for the ELV system softwares. So this is one of the design criteria which has to be taken care as well. And here it's another type of architecture I have given. So you have a like you have a multiple community, let's say in the community, multiple communities, and you have a location servers like a local server for each community. And apart from that, centralized server and or standby server. So you have a failover in central server as well. So this is another type of architecture. So it's a different type of architectures has to be made based on the client requirement and the authority requirement as well as the consultant requirement. So we have to go through the document completely and make architecture. So once we make the architecture, then we will have a clarity, and it will be clear to the consultant, also the evaluator, when we submit the proposal. So and also it's a part of offering, like when we are making a material submittal should be part of the material submittal, this single line diagram, so that the client and consultant will have the clarity of what we are quoting. So here just a brief about the access control system design, what has to be considered. That I have mentioned 7 points. So what is access control system? It's all about who's accessing which doors and what time concept. So the concept is very simple. The user of the building user who's accessing what doors and what time. So we can specify the time in the programming software that within this particular time to particular time. Let's say for office hours only the employees are allowed. So we specify the time and we specify the doors also. Let's say the doors, for example, server doors, server and IDF doors and control room doors. Not all the people can access those doors. So we can make a access privilege for each users. So the common doors can be accessed by all the people, and some specific critical doors will be accessed by only the particular level of peoples. And based on the timing, okay, within this time only the all the employees can access, and out of office times cannot be entered. This can be applied for all kind of building and premises. So when we are choosing the access control system, there is different selection criteria has to be taken care when we talk about selection of server. As I mentioned earlier, so server selection is based on, okay, failover server is required or the single server is suffix. We need to check the specification and comply with. And the licensing method also, licensing method based on the readers. So we have a multiple readers, access card readers are there. So based on that, the licensing is differs. So we have to choose the licensing also based on the total number of readers. So the licensing part is comes with 64 door readers, 32 door readers. So the prices are differ for each type of readers. So choosing the correct licensing also it matters, because it's depending on that the value also will vary. So selection of the controllers also the matter. Selection of the controller. Sometimes we need to go with standalone controller. If it's only a simple requirement by the client, okay, you have two doors and you want to choose you want to have access control for the two doors, then we can go with the standalone door controller. We doesn't require to go with the computer based monitoring and the solution, higher end solutions. And also the selection of the controllers. You have a controller selection based on master slave concepts and single door, multi-door controller, standalone door controller, reader embedded type, IO board type controllers. So you can see that master slave concept is like a master is like it's holding the complete memory. So the slave controllers are connecting through RS485. I believe you are aware about RS485 method. That's a two-wire system. So mostly the master controller will be IP-based controller. Slave controller will be through two-wire system RS485. And so we can have a master slave concept, or the client may be required only the IP-based controller, then we cannot go with the master slave controller. So we have to go through the specification clearly. And also the single door, when where there is a single door only is there, so you can choose the single door controller. Where you have a multiple doors nearby and you have one IDF, so you can design in such a way that you can put a controller 4-door, 2-door, or 8-door controllers depending on the doors nearby. So as I mentioned, standalone, you don't require any connectivity, IP connectivity or anything. A standalone device, standalone controller, which can be configured. And reader embedded type control is also available, which means the reader itself has a brain and the program is stored in the reader itself. So you don't require a separate controller. So it comes in the market like reader, IP-based reader, or readers with RS485 with embedded controllers. So IO boards are like we have to use it for any monitoring system, alarm system. Like let's say for elevator control, you need to choose the IO controllers. This is for the controller point of view, the selections. And for the readers, we have to choose the readers based on the authentication methods I mentioned here. So type of the card technology. So there is a frequency and encryption method also there. So depending on that, the card has to be chosen or the tag has to be chosen, type of the tag. So the frequency differs and the encryption also differs and the communication also differs. You can have a different type of communication between the reader to the controller. We can say that VGANT and OSDP and SCSS. So different type of protocols are there. So we need to choose the protocol based on the specification. So we have to choose the reader carefully based on the specification. If they are asking the particular method of communications between the controller and the reader, so we have to consider, like when we say that VGANT is very common in the market. We can type control technology, and when we go with the OSDP, the prices are little higher compared to the VGANT. So selection of the readers and the controller based on the communication is very important. Also, the type of the readers also matters. So type of the readers, we can have keypad reader or the reader only for the card, RFID card, or RFID card with the keypad, or with the thumb fingerprint reader, or the based on the eye impression. So facial recognition. There are different type of readers are there. So we have to choose the readers based on the specification and the client requirement. So we should not choose the equipments which is in higher in value, which is not required. Like let's say for a small storeroom, we should not use the face recognition reader, or for server room, not use the standard RFID reader. We have to use the reader wisely and select the readers depending on the specification, and as well as if there is no specifications, to sit with the client and understand the requirement and explain the security threats involving based on the type of the door, and choose the readers wisely. And the fourth one is the ACS cables. So access control cables are not common. It varies depending on the type of field devices what we are connecting. So let's say like a push button for exiting the door. So you will have a 2-wire system, and for reader you will have 6-wire or 8-wire. So depending on the manufacturer requirement, the cable has to be chosen. Apart from that, there is a standard criteria also there. If you want to go with the push button 2-wire system and lock with the 2-wire with the thick cable, the gauge of the cable will be more, and also for the reader, it's more multi-strand cables with two 4 wire or 6 wire or 8 wire, based on the connectivity, based on the technology, as I said, vegan or OSDP, based on that. And selection of locks and field devices are based on ironmongery set as well. So as you are coming up on, if you are in the MEP contractor, you may aware about ironmongery set. So the ironmongery set are one given by this door contractor, door specialist contractor, who mentioned type of the door and type of the locking mechanism. So based on that, we have to choose the locks and the field devices. So, like we can say that the doors are metal doors, aluminum doors, or wooden doors, glass doors. So, based on that, the field devices selection varies. So, we cannot simply select when the volume are more, or when you're selecting for the field devices and the locks. So, it's advisable to check the ironmongery set from the client or the contractor, and design and choose the field devices accordingly. And the another criteria is considering the fire alarm system integration requirements. So obviously, when there is a standard in the fire alarm system, and during the fire condition, the life safety system, that there are two type of doors are there: fire safe, fail safe, and fail secure. So those doors are fail safe doors and fail secure doors, has to be operated during the fire condition, based on the evacuation procedures stipulated by the local authority and the building requirement. So opening the doors and closing the doors during the fire alarm situation and the critical situation is very important. So the hardwares also should be selected. The locks also should be selected based on the type of the requirement. So considering the another criteria is CCTV integrations. So most of the system access control system is integrating with the CCTV as well. We need to integrate the CCTV system with access control system to have a security management system in place. Like we can say SMS system is a security management system software which integrates access control on CCTV. So mostly it's added advantage for the client and the maintenance FM team as well. In case of any tampering the door, the in the software monitoring software, automatically the CCTV camera will be popped up nearby CCTV camera to the door, so that the person can understand somebody trying to tamper the door. So these are the criteria that has to be considered while choosing the access control system. So other system in a brief about the building management system. So you aware about the building management system, I believe. So it's monitoring and controlling of the MVP system. That is the BMS, building management system. So it controls and monitors all the MVP equipments which is connected. Again, we need to choose the monitoring and control based on the client and consultant requirement, not to overcoat or not to undercoat. So how to choose this BMS system is following criteria are mentioned here. So first thing is like depending on the specifications, we have to prepare the IO point schedule, which gives that each type of system. Let's say like we are controlling the pump set, booster pump set. So what are the controlling and monitoring IO points are there? And when we are controlling air handling unit, or when we are controlling the fan coil unit, or we are controlling the lights, or we are monitoring the power PMU of the MDB and DBs. So depending on that, the IO point has to be derived. So it's a weighted criteria that when the person is working on the BMS system, he must know the IO point schedule to prepare, and choose wisely based on the monitoring and control. Where the client and consultant is looking for monitoring only, we should not propose the controlling as well, because the cost will increase. So again, the selection of the server licensing method is differs based on the IO points, total IO points. So we can say the IO points, we can have a software integration with the fire alarm system. For example, this is a different type of IO points. Like for example, the crack units, we are integrating through the Modbus. So this is a software integrations or hardwire points also there. Hardwire is directly connecting the hardwired cable to the units, MEP units. Let's say for the booster pump, directly we are controlling and monitoring. We pull the cable, hardwired cable directly goes from the BMS controller to the booster pump panel. So that is a one example for that. And selection of DDC controller also very important role here. When we select the DDC controllers, not to select very less controllers or choose more controllers that will also will make a under or overcoat. So choosing the DDC controllers is main based on the location wise. We need to segregate the locations. So and based on the locations, we can make a cumulative IO point schedule for the DDC based. So then select the controllers based on the IO total IO point schedules. Like we have IO points. When we talk about IO points, there are different type of IO points are there. We can I will give in a brief in later stage. So we have analog and digital, and apart from that, there are universal input outputs also there, and there are software points. Software points are connecting with the different protocols. We have a Modbus, BACnet, and so on. Loan works and selection of BMS field documents and the FCE also a vital role. What is the field documents? Let's say when we are talking about AHUs, the field documents are humidity and temperature monitoring device, as well as the temperature monitor, outdoor temperature monitor, and yeah, the cooling coil temperature monitoring. So these are the parameters which is monitored by the field documents in the AHU. When we talk about the final control equipment, let's say like actuators on the damper actuators are the cooling coil valve actuators. So selection of this cooling coil valve actuator based on the design criteria pipeline and the cooling requirement, the temperature requirements, and based on the KP value, and also choosing the damper actuators based on the Newton meter requirement, based on the force requirement, based on the ducting sizing. That is also important criteria. So we cannot choose over or under rated final control equipments. So it will mess up the system. It will not completely work, making a workable system. So selection of SCADA system is also another point that which need to be taken care. So SCADA is a supervisory control and data acquisition is a graphical user interface that present to the monitoring team who can monitor and control daily in and out basis of all the BMS equipments. So choosing the SCADA system wisely also very important. How many points are there and what type of integration. So what type of integrations is required based on the specification also very important. And selection of suitable cables also it's very important here. Why I'm saying is when we are choosing the cable thickness is matters when we are using the more gauge cables for the small applications because most of the applications we have a VFC wall-free contacts. So wall-free contacts for all the inputs where we are only monitoring. So those points comes with the VFC. So those are minimum gauge we can 22 AWG we can go with. So and when we are going with field equipment and final control element, it differs based on the type of the equipment. So let's say for the actuators we need to go with 20 AWG cable, 3 wire system based on the control and the feedback. So choosing the cables also matter because it will increase or decrease the value in a huge amount because all you know that the building management system is connecting all the field equipments and the final control equipments. It's like a plenty of equipments connecting to the DDC. It's an individual wired system. Mostly it's a hardware system, it's individual wired systems. So cables are comes in very huge distance, long distance cables. So choosing the cable, thickness of the cable is on the screened or unscreened cable or cable with the higher thickness or the thickness which is standard requirement, which is also vital in selecting the BMS system. Also, another criteria we need to take care is how we are integrating with other systems like other ELV system, access control, CCTV, and GRMS. also matter. As you see that access control may be hardware system we need to connect with, and close circuit television, NVR or DVR, we need to take the hardwire signal to the BMS in case of NVR failure or NVR or DVR failure. It has to be notified to the BMS. So the BMS company also understands BMS monitoring person will also understand that there is a critical activity, critical alarm is there to check, and immediately maybe the TV is failure to check the TV health condition and to switch on the TV or the breaker failure or breaker trip or something. So another system here, I just mentioned in a brief. I think it's you can see the screen clearly, right?
Yes.
The text is not so bigger, so that's why I ask.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I made. So what it's about the CCTV system is like the safety and security measures are for the premises by implementing a surveillance system. So that is a major the objective of the CCTV system here. So necessary threat protection is required for the building and the people who are the occupants of the building. So we need to give the necessary safety and security measures for the premises and the functions. The objective of this security function is part of business functions, because to have smooth business functions, it's necessary to have a security functions in place, physical security as well as the electronic security. So CCTV system comes under electronic security systems. So design criteria for the CCTV system, it's we can say the first criteria is light availability. So why we say the light availability? Most of the crimes happens in the dark, as you know very well. So light is a matter, where there is no light to capture the clear scenery is a matter. So as you understand and you know that CCTV cameras are more powerful than the human eyes. It can see in the dark. So where the crime occurs, crime happened, it captures very immediately and it transfer the data, and it can be monitored, and it's evident and proof for the police regulation authority in local places. Okay, so light availability is the main criteria. Where there is no light, you need to have infrared based IR cameras. IR cameras should be chosen, and the target distance also matters. So, what distance the target is, like the person comes approaching the gate, and how much distance the camera has to be kept. So, based on the distance, we have to choose the cameras, type of the camera, lens of the camera, and housing of the camera. So the second selection criteria I have mentioned here is what type of monitoring you want to have. The local authorities and international authorities, they define what are the different type of monitoring procedures required. Like when the person is entering the premises, you need to identify the guy, and when he is moving to the elevator and elevator lobby, there should be a recognition camera. And when there is a perimeter, someone is intruding, then you need to have a perimeter monitoring camera. So based on that, the resolution of the camera differs. I mentioned here like 2 megapixel, 5, 8 is a common standard, or in higher standard also available. And lens also we need to choose based on the scenarios, and what I mentioned is ID camera or recognition camera or detection camera, observation camera. So local authorities are defining the method, what is the monitoring method, and what is the criteria that has to be taken care while choosing the cameras as well. So we have the lens of different sizes: 2.8, 4, 8, 12 mm, fixed or varifocal. So we need to choose wisely, where we have a standard scenarios, standard location, small corridor. So you can go with a fixed camera, not a varifocal camera. So varifocal is like the lens can vary. We can adjust the lens. So we can do auto lens focusing methods as well from the system. or we can focus manually going to the camera, remove the housing and do that. So it's all depending on the requirement. We need to choose the cameras, not to choose the very focal camera where it's a standard requirement in small corridor to monitor. You can definitely go with a fixed camera. But if you have a wide lobby area and change in the scenes always happens, you have to go with very focal camera. So you cannot go vice versa. You can go very focal camera in the fixed camera location, but the price will be higher. So choosing the camera during the design is a vital part. Also, choosing the camera housing, dome, a bundle dome, a type of the camera, bullet or PTZ radar cameras for the vehicle plate recognition should be also taken care. And the covert cameras are not in local authority in UAE is allowed, but there are some certain things like they can approve if you give the details of why we are going with the covert. But generally, CCTV system should not be a covert cameras. So as I mentioned, camera housing also varies. It's based on the outdoor conditions. It should be going with the metal housing, IP66 ratings, and indoor you can go with the IP55. So we have to choose the camera housing also depending on the location where it will be installed. Okay. And the another third criteria of the recording is also a crucial factor while selecting the CCTV system, because that's when we are uh, considering the more recording parameters, more recording servers, the prices are higher. So choosing widely and the type of the recording servers wisely also very important, because if you are going with analog cameras, okay, some of the cases authority is okay, authority approval is not required, or some authority is allowing, you can go with the DVR camera, you have an analog camera, and the analog camera can be connected to the DVR directly using the coaxial cable, or some regulations, let's say like when you go with Dubai CIRA requirements, you must have IP-based cameras. So all cameras should be through Cat6 cable. So you can go with the NVR, NAS, or SAN. So we have to check the specification and choose correct server requirement, storage requirements, recording storage requirements. Because when we go with DVR, the prices are lower, and NVR is lower than NAS, and NAS is lower than SAN. So we have to check, or we have to explain in brief to the client and understand what is the requirement. Or the latest technologies also as a cloud storage requirement is there. NAS is network data storage. SAN is storage area network, and name itself you can see in the network there is a storage devices connected. It's a NAS. It's all in all one appliance. It's server plus recording server together. So there are different things in the CCTV system in the server point of view. There is a server for the VMS system, video management system, as well as the recording server. So NAS is a device which have a all-in-one server, and SAN is you have a controller separate. It's as you see the storage area network. Area network. It's like area. It's like we can have a one controller and multiple different storage devices. We can add its expandability is there in SAN. In NAS, we need to have additional NAS device, or we need to check the existing storage or disk capacity, and we can increase. So these are the things in the recording parameters level, recording servers, and the other criteria is recording parameters. As there are different recording parameters, we can say what is the frame per second has to be recorded, what is the resolution it has to be recorded, and what is the it should be a motion recording or continuous recording. So there are authorities are defining what is the type of recording parameters. So apart from authority requirement, there are some operational requirement also. Let's say like PTZ cameras, client want to add, and or let's say the places where authority is not asking for a camera, but client is asking for the camera. That is operational requirement. So we have to choose the recording parameters wisely, because recording parameters are based on the recording parameters, the storage increases or decreases. So we have to see there is a different compression technology is there, H.265, H.264. So, and resolution also 1080p is the 2 megapixel, or the camera megapixel you want to record in 5 megapixel, 8 megapixel. This all depending on the authority requirement and the client requirement based on the specification as well. So that is a very important criteria in choosing the server. As I told, server storage increases when the recording parameters we consider wrongly. Okay. And another criteria is selection of monitor and the video walls. When the premises have plenty of cameras and they want a video wall solutions, like video walls are like we have 43 or 55-inch video walls, multiple video walls are kept in the control room wall to monitor regularly. Like we can say, it's a crucial factor. Like when you go for the community and you have a 500 cameras, you need to monitor and control. So based on that, the selection also varies. Okay, so okay, yeah. So the another, someone's talking. Your voice is not audible. Is it okay?
Yeah, continue.
Yeah. Okay. So the other criteria is network switches also. So choosing the network switches also very important factor. So depending on like flooring, like how many in the floor, like multiple floors we can connect in one switch. We have a different combination of switches. So switches coming with the PoE. When we are going for IP based cameras, we have to choose the PoE switches. So the switches comes in a level of 8 ports or 12 ports, 16 ports, 24, 48 ports. So choosing the network switch also important, and the racks required to keep the switches and the passive components are PoE long midspan or media converters. This is depending on the distance. When as a standard we have to go with less than 100 meter between the camera to the recording server or the network switch. If it's going more than that, either we need to go with the PoE long or midspan or the media converter we can go. Media converter is just nothing like just a device which is converting from copper catches cable to the fiber. So it can go more distance compared to the other standard criteria. So it's all depending on the client and consultant approval we can go with. We can go with either PoE midspan, price wise cheaper, and if they are they are asking to go with PoE long span, then we have to go with PoE long span only. Or the different the critical areas, like we can say some plant area, the distance are very longer. We cannot go with PoE long or midspan. We may need to go with a media converter, which converts copper to fiber, so the distance are more. Also choosing the switches is based on the environmental conditions. So either you are choosing a switch to like the network switch on the cabinets, like inside the IDF room, or it's external IDF. The IDF room may be inside the building, which is conditioned space. Then you can go with the standard room switches, or if there is no specific IDF rooms inside the building, or if there is no building or it's a workshop or kind of some setups that is not a conditioned space, then we need to choose the switches based on the outdoor rated conditions, and the cabinets also depending on that. So all setup varies. The choosing the cabinets and the switches based on the shop drawing and the schematic and the site survey is also very important point in the design perspective. So apart from that, the last point I want to mention here is the data transmission medium. It's nothing like that. It's just the cable type you have to go with. So some authorities says it has to go with IP based only, means definitely you have to go with the Cat6 cable or Cat5e cable or Cat6e cables. It's like a network cable. Otherwise, if it's a small application, small buildings, you can go with a coaxial cable. So it's all matter So depending on the camera type, the cable varies. Also, the cable type also varies depending on the environmental conditions. Inside the building, you have to go with the you can go with the indoor cable, and outside the building, you have to go with the PE cables. PE cables are nothing like it's outdoor rated cables, which has to be chosen wisely. So not to choose the outdoor rated cable inside the building, or not to choose the indoor cables in outside building, which is not workable solution. So choose when while designing, these are the factors we need to consider as well. Apart from that, there is a power source also should be taken care in case if it's inside the building or outside the building, or power source is there, existing power source, then you can take the electrical raw power and dedicate the UPS. You need to choose the APUs based on the number of switches, either 1 kVA, 2 kVA, 3 kVA, 6 kVA, or 10 kVA, or control room maybe require 10 kVA or more than that. So you have to choose based on the load conditions, the UPS. So proposing the UPS also mostly it's a part of the CCTV system itself. So choosing a higher rating of higher rating kVA of the UPS switch will also will impact on our cost in the design cost, and also the type of other type of power sourcing method. When we do not have local power nearby, either you can have to go with solar based. Solar PV panels should be installed in the pole along with the outdoor cabinet switches and the cameras, or sometime maybe you can go with the hybrid. You can run with power cable in case of in case of there is no sufficient solar energy. In that case, we can switch to the power we can tap from the nearby source. So these are the just a brief about the system design criteria. I have given the three systems here. We can work out in all the systems and given details as per the course criteria what Mr. Palani have given. And you have any doubts on this, or to proceed further, what is required, and you have any confusion to go further, or you need any clarification, you can contact or you can contact Mr. Palani. And thank you for the opportunity given. Mr. Palani, you can take over now.